This right here is what you get when Tyrese Maxey has the ball in his hands and he starts cooking.
Oh man. Tyrese Maxey is cooking.
Yeah, it's not so nice being on the island in front of him. And well, that's not the only thing you have to deal with now. Last season, Tyrese Maxey put up a career high of 28 points a game with shooting splits of 36% from 3, 46% from the field, and 64% in the restricted area. On paper, you can immediately see that Maxey is one of the most efficient scorers in the league, but he still wasn't enough to carry this team by himself. Every time Embiid sat or Portion P wasn't in the lineup either, it really felt like Maxey had to fight for everything offensively by himself. But now everything changes with Jaylen Brown landing in Philly. Brown is coming off a season where he averaged 28 points a night while not only leading Boston offensively, as he would also hold his own on the defensive end. This here led to Brown having a season better than most expected, his most enjoyable season playing in the NBA, and ultimately what ended up getting him traded. In today's video brought to you by PrizePicks, it's not about why someone left this team and blah blah blah, because by the end of this you're gonna see why pairing this version of Brown next to this version of Maxey turns an offense into a nightmare no defense wants to experience. Now once you flip on the TV, you couldn't blink or else Tyrese Maxey was already scoring, which would leave you wondering what happened. If we're just going off the eye test alone, Maxey is one of the fastest guards in the league, and once he shifts gears to then attack hard, it can break defenders like this. Anytime Maxey has the ball in his hands, he instantly becomes a threat to score, because unlike guys who mainly thrive in the half court, Tyrese will see that wide open runway, and if nobody is directly in front of him, he's gonna get to that rim in a flash. This here can't be downplayed, as transition buckets like this shift the momentum in games, and if you think I'm lying, tell me this doesn't make your team start playing with more energy.
Number 12, and Maxey throws it down with the left hand.
Yeah, with this speed comes no fear, and that can lead to slams that result in Kodak moments. This here is the jump start to Maxey's game that gets him in a flow state, and once defenses start to key in on the attack in these situations, that's when he'll rise up while you're backing up, and this one right here is straight cash. Now you're probably saying to yourself, okay, Maxey can score on the open floor and he's fast. Why does that really matter? Well, I want you to look at this transition bucket from Brown. Yeah, he scored, but he had to score over 2 defenders instead of beating everyone to the basket like Maxey. Now am I saying this is bad? No, not at all. I'm showing you this to put a highlight on 2 different paces that these two play at and how that can hurt the defense immensely. While Maxey will shoot down the floor at you and make the game speed up, Brown can then offer you something totally different and slow down the pace to still get a bucket. This is where Philly's half-court offense starts to become dangerous for opposing teams. JB simply never has to rush, as when he sees Neymar ready to help over to close this gap, we're also going to see Brown use a slight hezzy before driving into this area, and already knowing that the cutoff would happen eventually, Brown counters it with a spin move into the lane, and even though the defense is smothering him, Brown stays patient the entire time, and proceeds to sink this fade over the top. Now before you get mad at me, is this me saying this is a good shot or the best shot the team could have gotten? Simply put, no. But for one, I'm highlighting the pace he plays at and that patience, and then for 2, I like to call this playstyle of JB's backyard hoops. See, let's take a walk for a minute. Analytics are good and all because they help us analyze the game at a deeper level. But for me and you who are real hoop fans, we simply just love to see guys play their hearts out and will work hard to get a bucket no matter what. And Jaylen Brown, he gives you just that, while switching the pace this team can operate at while Maxey is still on the floor. I get it, I know Embiid definitely slows the game down for sure, but from another all-star guard who carried a team, yeah, Maxey's never had this before. The pace that Brown plays at brings a calming presence to the floor that can reset the team when things get chaotic, and this is exactly what I mean. The game just started and Brown could have easily pulled up when flowing into a turnaround out this post, but just to get that feel for what Robinson would do and not rushing things, he used that up fake first, goes back into a post up to initiate the contact, and then fades back for pure money. Now there's something interesting about this. When Brown is getting these looks, things are happening that most people aren't realizing. Sure, he may be operating at a slower speed, but that allows him to attract multiple defenders, and I'm not saying that Brown is the greatest passer or anything like that, but he's played with Jason Tatum for some time, so he knows when to give it up to his all-star counterpart, and in situations like this, he could find Maxey instead of opting into a tough jumper. All season long, Brown will see these tighter coverages as the defense just didn't care to give these other guys space, but if Tyrese Maxey was Simons on this play, a catch and shoot 3-pointer would be a great option. And if you flip sides of the floor, if Maxey was one of these 2 Boston players on this wing, attacking the closeout after the swing would be a solid option. But Brown, he just defeats the mismatch with a floater. Just so you can see this in action, watch right here. When the ball is kicked out to Maxey after the defense collapsed, he could choose to shoot it since he knocked down the tray ball at a 36% clip. but with that fear already in the defender's mind, Maxey can attack the closeout with aggression to then finish with a reverse. See, that slow pace that Brown uses isn't the point. It's that he can play at a different speed and still get the defense to gravitate towards him, and it's in that space where defenders shifted over, which is now open, where Maxey thrives the most. It truly doesn't matter who he sees in his way, as a longer Scotty Barnes closing out is just grounds for an easy blow by to Maxey, and even though RJ Barrett was right there to meet Tyrese Maxey at the rim, it's that Euro step to evade him and flow right into a tough lay off the glass. When you watch the 76ers, you'll see countless of times where Maxey will explode right through the gaps the defense leaves, and then when he has a star he can work off, Maxey will use them as like an energy source that charges his cuts, and man oh man is he dangerous when he's slicing like this. Yeah, it seems like everything is great, but this is where things get a little muddy, because who do you go to when you really need a bucket? Will it be the electric scorer who can score at all 3 levels? Or will it be the calm, composed, and gritty guy who makes the defense feel defeated after a tough bucket? This does take some thinking, but I have an answer for that, and it's probably not what you expect, but first, we have to hear a word from our sponsor. If you know you can play responsibly and have the means to do so, PrizePicks is the #1 app for sports picks. As we all know, the NBA season is over, but the action never stops for lovers of all sports with PrizePicks. When you go to PrizePicks, you'll see many different sports to choose from, along with many different categories to select picks. It's pretty easy, all you do is pick more on a player's stats or less and it puts them in your lineup. And if you want, PrizePicks now offers team picks where you pick either the winner, spread, or total and simply lock it in. Here's how simple it is to add picks to your lineup. For example, Kelsey Mitchell for more than 27 points, rebounds, and assists, let's lock that in. Olivia Miles for more or less than 17 points, yeah, let's go for more. And then after going through and locking in more picks, I can finalize my lineup, sit back, and let the magic happen. And the greatest part about this is that PrizePicks is available in over 40 states, including California, Florida, Texas. And if you sign up for PrizePicks with code HMA, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. That's right, PrizePicks just switched their offer, so there's no better time to join than now. So lock in, win that first lineup, and that's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. So either download the app or click the link in my description and let me hear your picks in the comments. Now when thinking about who the team will go to in crunch time isn't as complicated as we think. See, these guys both offer 2 completely different playstyles that the defense has to think about, which will now allow Philly to approach the game entirely different. If the game is more ISO heavy and the floor is being spread, you probably want to go to Tyrese Maxey, as this will play more into his playstyle of breaking through gaps and speeding past defenders. But if the game is more grit and grind and the defense is more sunk in, you may want to go with Jaylen Brown, as he thrives in this physical go get it out the mud basketball style. This here makes Philly dangerous down the stretch, because even though you may pick one guy to run the offense through in these situations, we already showcase how they can work directly off each other's skill set, and this is pretty much when defenses will start malfunctioning. I mean, you tell me, what do you do when Maxey is hitting shots like this?
Shot clock's at 1, Maxey heats it up, got it!
Or when he's in his groove late game, gets that ISO and just starts cooking.
He's already on the floor, Elijah Martin on the island by himself, good defense.
Maxey rattles it.
This is what Maxey gives you when he's locked in. You may fall victim to his 3-point shooting that he can let fly from any time from anywhere, and trust me, I'm being serious. If you give him this much space, he's letting it fly. If you let him get comfortable with that handle, that snatchback will pretty much just break you.
Getting those looks. Maxey, step back 3, got it.
And if you're just playing lazy defense in transition, he'll make sure to lock load and fire with a quickness.
Maxey a bomb, it is good.
All this here is just his 3-point shooting, as when he starts operating inside that 3-point line, defenses have even more trouble. Like yeah, he can shoot the ball, and because of that, defenses are worried, so what does that mean? Well, you probably already know, blow-bys right to the basket, but that right there is just surface level, as a potential blow-by can now turn into a snatchback, and this here is just clean. Like I stated at the beginning of the video, Maxey's offense was never the problem, as he can score practically from anywhere at any time. But now, he has another guy who can do the same thing in different ways. And I get it, I know there's been talk around the media and everything about Jaylen Brown simply not making his team better when he's on the floor, but I'm not buying it. When Brown is on the floor, the defense not only has to worry about him scoring, but they also have to be ready to shift their defense as they'll send multiple guys to him. I mean, imagine you're a GM and you just paired a guy who breaks defenses with speed next to a guy who breaks defenses with pure patience and control. Basically, you get the best of both worlds. So this isn't a star and a co-star situation. It's just 2 guys who both carried their team individually for the most part, now coming together to make an exploding bomb. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. And if you made it this far, you've unlocked the Tyrese Maxey card on my website to use in your rec lineup. All you have to do is head over to my website hoopmasteryvo.com, go to the rec, and under rec codes type in Tyrese Maxey. This will unlock a special card that goes into your locker, and now you can use them in your lineup to play against me, another member on the site, or play a full season. I look forward to seeing you all and playing you in a game.